Hello everyone, welcome back at my next video concerning the business phrasal verbs, this time the bunch or the list number 2. And this time I prepared for you another list or bunch which might be actually appealing or interesting for a lot of you, especially doing business online or when you communicate on a daily basis with your business partner or with your clients or customers. You can use it in a communication on email or even online events now or seminars, or you just listen a lot of series, movies, wherever. It's not particularly only for business or economy, of course, but it's coming from that style. So, as you can see around me, the first one is follow up, which means actually it comes from the basic active verb follow, and it means communicate, to continue communicating with someone after an event. So it means that when you complain or when you have a problem or when you just follow with a project or with some work or thesis, then of course there is a follow-up, so you want to know what's going on. Or for instance, when you have an interview for a new job or a vacancy, for instance, don't forget to follow up after the interview. The next one is wrap up, which means to finish an event or an activity. Wrap up, like close it, terminate. So it means let's wrap up this meeting so we can go to lunch. Wrap up means also when somebody wants to close a meeting specifically or appointment or something, then they say, okay, let's wrap up, let's go. The next one is come up with, which is logical and quite literal, because come up with means to think of an idea, to come up with something, so to have something in mind and to say it. So, for instance, we need to come up with a new marketing strategy by next week. So, come up with something is rather literal, yeah? So, you come up with something, specifically idea in the business terms. The next one is burnout, and especially for top and high managers and high positions, directors or CEOs or CFOs, or it's quite common, because burnout means that you are so overwhelmed, you are so actually working hard, and it's so overwhelming that you are just done with a heavy workload. So to become overwhelmed with a heavy workload. For instance, if you work 80 hours per week, you will burn out specifically. So burnout is now even the registered disease, the sort of like disease, illness, specifically for high top managers. The next one I think I mentioned already. Okay, let's do it with the other context or the other example in the sentence. Carry out, which means to execute, project, assignment, task, to do it, to make it, yeah, to execute. For instance, who will carry out your duties when you leave the company? So somebody's asking, who is going to carry out? Who is going to execute? Who is going to do it when someone leaves the company? And the next one is write up, which is a little bit different from write down. It means to summarize information in a formal report or study. So it means write up, like not really note down, but to summarize, yeah, to sum up, write up, conclude, we can say. For instance, would you please write up a report about our newest product? So it means that write it up, like what's going on, what's the newest product about, so write it up, summarize it. The next one is another bunch, and that means actually drum up. Drum up. It's coming from the musical instrument drum, but it means to try to increase interest in or support for something. Drum up, it's like going to a little bit up with your interest, with your concern. For instance, he's trying to drum up interest in his company's new product. So drum up, so it means that support it more, support that interest. The next one is fall through. Fall through, a little bit literal, because fall means like decrease, going down, and fall through means to be unsuccessful, to fail, to happen, to fail in something, in a project or somewhere. So that's fall through. It means something which is not really going in your actually direction where you want it to be. So it's not according to your target or what. So, for instance, the sale of the company fell through. So the sales are not really reaching up, are not really reaching the assignment, your task, or your budget. The next one is bailout. Bailout was or is still popular in some circles, especially also with government, for instance, subsidies, to help a person or a business in difficulty, especially financially. You know that after the crisis, after the huge financial crisis after 2008 and 2009, it means that a lot of companies, especially even huge, large corporations, even the banks, needed a bailout, needed a real financial support, specifically also from the governments or from the banks. So that means bailout, to help it. Doesn't mean only corporations or huge organizations or companies, means also a person. It can be a physical person, a natural person, yeah? For instance, the company had several debts, so the bank bailed out the company. Usually the banks are doing it, but it might be also other firm or corporation with the cooperation with the bank. There are many actually processes, and financial institutions can cooperate together, whatever, to bail out, but it's that word which is used for this operation. The next one is, I think I mentioned it, but maybe in different contexts, close down, which means terminate, which means to close something permanently so that it stops doing business. Usually in business, it means close down the company, close down the branch, close down the firm, the business organization, or the department, unit. The store was losing money, so we closed it down. Now, needless to say, but also unfortunately, a lot of restaurants or a lot of hotels, wellnesses will be closed down, because basically when they are really losing a lot of money from the system, they will be closed down. The next one is, and I think it's the last one in this term, and in this bunch, is cashing on, which literally comes from cash, from that word, from that expression, and it means to benefit or make money from an event or situation, cashing on. So it means that you have some event, you have project, you have something, and you cashing on, often in an unfair way. So it means that cashing on is used in a way like it's not basically very formal, very, very official, but cashing on means that it's not really common, it's not fair, it's unfair. And you benefit, you actually make money out of this situation. For instance, the company is cashing in on the competition's error. So, yes, we are in a free market, specifically democratic companies. So, of course, cashing on means that, yes, some company can actually do it on the debt of the others, or can compete on the market, which is not really always fair. We know marketing strategies are not always fair. So something like that. That means cash in on. And I think for this time, I can close it up, close it down, and finish with this. When you go through this video more times, when you listen more times, and also in context and sentences, you will understand how they use it, and when you can actually effectively and efficiently use it in your communication skills in the English language. Thank you very much. See you next time.